in. Guys, it is too cold for this. My body does not like the cold. But coffee, Mr. Portable Buddy Heater over here, we're gonna be able to get this done. I got a leaky wheel cylinder and well, it's about time to do some maintenance on this thing. So hopefully today we'll be able to get the pad swapped out, get the new wheel cylinder in, and whatever else needs to be done in there done. Friction management for extreme protection. Guess we're gonna be going extreme since we're gonna be protected. Guys, if you don't have one of these big that go you are not gonna get these semi-truck 22.5-inch wheels off of this truck. Okay, so the battery died, so missed a portion of getting the wheels and tires off. But oh yeah, you can see the whole 8 to 10 lug adapter still in there. It's just impossible to get these things to separate without damaging the inner rims or getting them off. This is hub centric, so if you look here, the center of this wheel sits on that bracket, that adapter, I'm sorry. So when these were powder coated, what I had failed to do was clean the inner lip off so that would just slide free on there. So instead of cleaning and doing it the right way, we just set that whole Ugga Dugga to full power, pushed the rims on there, and it kind of sucked it right into place. So we get these 8 bolts out of here. This is going to slide the axle out. In order to get this rear drum off, you have to get this off of here on these 70 HP axles. So got the 8 nuts out, or 8 bolts out, and she slides out. So inside of here you have a locking nut. If you look, there's like little tab spaces here. You'll see that a couple of them tabs are, well, one of them tabs is locked over. Looks like right there. What I'll do is pull that forward, spin that nut off. Inside of here is that retainer ring. Should be able to see it right here in this little key. Just a little bit of finesse to pull it out. Guess I should be telling you guys how important it is to use the proper tools. This here is a proper tool. It is a flattened out, beat up, chipped flathead screwdriver. It really isn't used for anything else but this. You get a rubber handle one, that way you can really beat on it and it does absolutely nothing but tear up the back end of it. Then the proper hammer for this would be a 1/2-inch breaker bar. With any luck. Shoot. Let's keep your work area nice and clean. Nice and clean. Yep, clean enough. All right, let's get a picture of what the actual springs and everything's gonna look like, because very important to not do both sides at the same time. You want to do one side and then do the other, because if for some reason I don't remember where the spring goes, or I don't know, the Google webs go down, something, I don't know. I have another reference on the other side to go to. So on this, we will be taking the emergency brake out, so I won't be using this bracket, this spring, and I won't be using this cable down here. If you're not gonna wear eye protection, just put your hand over it. Let that spring really eat into the meat of your hand. Blood helps lubricate some stuff. Actually had fairly good meat left on them things. Kind of surprised. A little bit, got a little hot, but yeah. Alright, so this is what we're going to be changing. This is the real reason we were in here, is this wheel cylinder. It wasn't so much this side, it was the other side. The other side was leaking pretty good. Oh. I don't know why that's so fun. But anyways, the other side was leaking. The seal inside here was rolled and cracked and dry rotted, so I'm assuming these were probably changed or installed at the exact same time. So when one side goes, oh, I guarantee the other side's going pretty quick. What we gotta do is get in here. There's two little bolts in here that's holding this on this way. It also has the brake line in it, so we'll get behind there and see if I can show you how to get back in there. All right, let's see if we can get you there. So, two bolts I was talking about, one there, 3/8 bolt, one there, another 3/8 bolt, and here is the brake line. Bleeder's right here on top, brake line's right there. Let's see if we can't get that thing out of there. Hi. Okay, once again, proper tools. 3/8. See if I can do this with just by looking in the camera. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Nope, not happening. I know I'm on you. Are you a different size? Or do you just got so much awesome? Yep, definitely not the right size. It's gotta be. Ain't no way they're gonna put a different side on here. Other side. Come on out. So I made it. Clearing up the old nasal drip. I'm gonna get you. There's no way you guys don't want to. Oh, come on. Well, I think so. Dang it. Wait, come on. Nope. Well, those bolts do not want to come out. So the right thing to do is read the instructions. And the instructions wants to make this a little bit harder than it should be. So, read the instructions for painted on, about to be stripped out wheel cylinder bolts. And it said, well, it says we should probably take those bolts out of there. So let's take that out, see if we can't get behind the wheel cylinder. Voila. Painted, about to be stripped out bolts. Instructions were correct. Instructions say scrape off paint in each location. Then put the tightest socket you can find on the thing and then just give her hell. I mean, who paints over this? That would have been me. Okay, so now I got a little bit more leverage on it. I can actually get the socket to set all the way down on it. Give her a little tap with the old hammer. Come on. Oh. Yep. This hexagon shape has now become rounded. Okay, alright, what do we do next? Get out these old here never fails, also known as never fails. Come on, get. Nope. Guys, here's the thing. No matter how tight I get these things, they always. You know, you get the point. I am. Try. Yeah, see? Look at that. I mean, come on. I barely. All right. I don't have any the tools I need for this to. When I say tools, I mean a wire wheel. No wire wheel. But damn, do I got a plumber's tool. Let's see if we can. Let me show you. Went back to the instruction manual on how to get stripped, painted wheel cylinder bolts out. 1963 C10. It's in the Chiltons. Trust me, it's there. And what it says on page 307, index 2, paragraph C, subsection D. We get a DeWalt grinder. Grind away at the head of the bolts until they look like this. Yep. That's what it says. Oh, boy. Where are you guys? Okay, look. I don't know who does the inventories around here at the part stores, but the Mr. AutoZone or the Mrs. Advanced Auto Parts or the, I don't know, Sir O'Reilly's or Napa's, I don't know. I've gone to 57 states and 2 part stores to try to figure out where these bolts are for this master cylinder, this wheel cylinder. Nobody's got them. You gotta go and get just a generic little bolt. It's just a 5/16, 18 pitch, 1/2 inch long. Why not just carry the bolts that come with the wheel cylinders? Just put them in the box. Put them in the box. Go find them, put them off the shelf. Put them in the box. Sell them with the master cylinder. We won't spend 62 days trying to figure out where they are. Just put the bolts in the box. It's like 3 cents, guys. Come on. All right. Face is a little dirty. Ooh, yeah. So I got myself a little unibrow going or something. Oh. Squeak. Perfect. Okay. So with my shoes, my pads, I like to try to get the tops in first, and then get the little receivers or the holding spring in first. To me, that's the hardest part, is getting that little heifer to turn sideways. So I usually start there. Make sure we're lined up at the top here. Yeah, make sure. And then we're gonna fight this for about 23 minutes or so. Just because these brakes are deep. These are, I think, 3.5-inch brakes. It ain't a small axle, so trying to wrap your hand around it and hold the back and twist the front. This isn't the greatest. Alright. I just need you to stay right there. But you don't want to stay right there. You would rather be a pain in my butt. There we go. Alright. So if you don't know what I mean by this little lock spring, there's this stem. Let's see. This tapered side sits on the back side of, so it would come through the back, right through this front. That pushes up against, puts pressure against the backing plate, and then as the spring goes on, it goes in that little hole. You see that? And it turns sideways and it locks the spring onto that stem. See? Locky. Should not ever come off. What that does is keep your shoes nice and flat and tight up against that back brake, or up against this backing plate. So that's what I'm fighting. What I'm trying to do is try to hold the back of this. It's like just putting your finger on the end of it. It don't work too well. But what I do is I vice grip or clamp this back half so it stops spinning on me, and then in theory, which none of my theories ever work out, this can go on and I can take a set of open pliers and twist it. I know there's a tool for this. I know there's a better way to do this, 100%. But once again, I'm not set up right now to get all those parts and nice fancy tools in here. I do have them, however, they are not here. Okay? Not. So after this, we've got these little pusher outer thingies for the, I don't even know what you call them things. Actuators? Pistons? I don't know. But these sit inside the wheel cylinder. They've got like a little groove to them too, and those grooves keep it aligned inside. So I don't know if you could see it right here. Oops, right there. Keeps your shoes aligned to the wheel cylinder. So I'd like to get them in next. They never want to stay, they always fall out. Look at those ice grips out there. Let me help a little bit. The reason I do that one next is I'm going to put this support plate in. That's this. And start getting the springs, at least the top springs loaded in. Guys, brakes can be very intimidating, especially drum brakes. Front, they're pretty basic. The back ones, yes, very intimidating. However, if you take your time, take some pictures for your first 2, 3, 4, 7 go-arounds, it gets easier as it goes. If you kind of know anything about mechanics, you'll know that this really is only going to go about one way. And what I mean by one way is this way, that way, this way, other way. So about 27 different ways you can do this. But if you pay attention to the mechanics of the brakes and how everything works, springs are kind of going to go, they're only going to really go one way. If it doesn't fit, it's going to be either too loose or way too tight. You're popping blood vessels trying to get these springs on, then it might not be in the right spot. So maybe rethink it. Look at it from a different angle or something. So what we need to do now is get the rest of these springs in here. We got to get a piece that holds the two shoes together. That looks just like that. So that's going to go on first. Kind of get everything close to a line because it ain't going to be 100% right now. And what I mean by 100% is as soon as I let this go, stuff's just going to kind of fall apart again. But at least it's up there. It's ready to get installed. Next piece is this. It's kind of like a bent clothes hanger. It's going to sit on top. It's going to sit between this, I guess you can call it your brake shoes tab. It's going to go in, and then it's going to come over here and put the tension. See that? This goes kind of in and out. It's supposed to move in forward and back, but the concept here is there's a little hook on there. That little hook goes onto that, and we get our clothes hanger around there, and that's how she sits. Still don't have any tension on it. I don't have any springs really in here. So that's what we're going to do now, is find the next spring. What I got left is three longer springs. I don't know if those you can really see. There's three long ones and one little shorty. I guarantee you this little shorty, it's not going to reach from here to there. So we're going to take that one, set it off to the side. So now this one is trying to get from this hole to the top. So remember what I said about popping the old blood vessels in your head? Guys, you ain't gonna get that. That is way too far. So we're gonna set that one aside. Now the next two are pretty close. What I mean by pretty close is they're about 3/4 of an inch off from height. But if you take a look at the way these springs are twisted and twined and turned, you might be able to just kind of figure this one out. So we'll take this kind of beefier one. It's going to go in here and lock in. Once again, that is just so far away that I don't think it's going to be even close. So 4 springs, 3 set aside. We've got one left. This one is going to set right over top of the clothes hanger. Look how close we are. We're about, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch off. We're going to bring out the old flathead over top. Close your eyes a whole bunch and see if the spring locks on there. And like that, the spring comes around over the top. So, everything seems to be sitting all right. Check your alignments up here on the top of the horseshoes. Make sure it's over this lug good and tight. Now the tension starts coming together. So we got the main spring on here. We've got the clothes hanger. We've got our brake tensioner tabby thing installed. Wheel cylinders in. It looks like the tabs are lined up fine, just good. Now we're just kind of putting everything back together. We've been doing that the whole time. So now we've got a couple more springs left. Well, this little guy is basically just keeping tension on something, right? Because there's no hooks on here, there's no eyelets on it, there's nothing that's really pulling this spring apart. So instead of this being a pulling spring, this is more like a tension spring. It's pushing down on something. So if we look around inside here, the only thing left on here that has any type of tab or whatever, I mean, this is a tab, but it doesn't fit in there. Here's a tab, it doesn't fit in there. And if you look right in here, you'll see like this little tab. Now this is supposed to sit out just a little bit. And what that does is kind of keep it off of the shoe and keeps tension down here on your brake adjuster. So if we're looking around where this could go, it looks like it's going to go right in there. All right, so if I look over here, what do I got left? I've got 2 springs, who knows, and we've got the brake adjuster. Well, we know the brake adjuster has to go at the bottom. You got to pay attention which way you put this. Because it can go 2 ways. What I mean by it can go 2 ways is it can go 2 ways. Okay. Got you all turned around. Here we go. So if you look right here, there's a little cutout on the back side of the brake retainer, shield, holder thing. Anyways, the point of that thing right there is to be able to take a flathead or brake key adjuster. That's really what they use, but I like these flatheads. Is to bring that in the back, and what it does is it rides, is you're able to click these, click, 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 click. They go like that and adjust. Now as you're spinning that, one of these sides will stay, and the other side expands and goes in. So as you're clicking that along, what it's doing is opening your shoes and kind of having your shoes rest up against the drum itself. We'll get into adjustments on that here in a little bit, but what I mean by it, you can put this way and it can also go this way. What you want is you want this gear wheel towards the back, or whichever way it is on yours. For mine, it's on the back, towards the back, so that you can hit this gear wheel and adjust. So now you know. All right, so we got the brake adjuster in. It just slides, like I said. Look behind it, you'll see that little window. That little window allows you to do the adjustment. It's got the stop on top. Now, process of elimination, right? We're down to, if we're counting, we're down to, whew. Oh, that is nice. Still good and warm. Process of elimination, if we're counting, we're back down to, or not back down, we are down to 2 springs. And they look something like that. Okay, so 2 springs, 2 more locations. What I mean by 2 more locations is, we know we need tension up top here. This little coat hanger isn't going to keep tension on everything. And this back spring is only going to be really pulling on that back side. Keeping, well, it'd be the front for me, but keeping tension on there. So, if we look at the rest of the springs up on top, they're pretty beefy. This one, I mean, it's pretty flimsy. This one can't really bend with my fingers. Probably because I'm a weakling, but can't really bend it. I'm trying to solve any type of puzzle here. I would assume that this is beefy, that one's beefy right there, and that one's beefy. So let's put all the beefies on top. Now we're not going to this lug. This lug right here only holds this big orange spring and what I like to call the clothes hanger. If you look right here on top of the clothes hanger, there's a hook right there. That is where this spring will be going. That spring is going to sit in there and hook on like that, and we will be good to go. Little pigtail in there. I'm going to come up behind you like this. As long as you can stay with me now. This long one, if you look, it's got a long shank on it. That is going to allow for you to clear, for this spring to kind of stay out of the way of when you're doing adjustments. So if you think if this was flipped that way, and I'm sitting here, I've got it, you know, underneath, facing this way, hypothetically, that spring, those coils are going to get in the way of me trying to adjust stuff. So make sure we're nice and, see how the whole thing moves as a whole assembly now? Yeah, perfect. All right. I like to get it kind of centered up in here before I put all the drums back together, but that's pretty much the basics. When I say the basics, that's all there is to know about drum brakes. It does take some time. It definitely Takes a little bit of brain power. But like I said, you can take a picture of it at the beginning, go back to it, keep referring, you know, back and forth, back and forth. What I used to do also is, well, I would write on these. If I'm going to reuse my old springs, one mark for the top left, and then 2 marks, you know, whatever puzzle, whatever key system you want to come up with. But just to kind of show for reference and for not having to zoom in on your picture or whatever else. So take a paint marker, come up with some sort of hieroglyphics on there, and remember where you put them. That's another way to do it as well. We gotta somehow get this big old Liberty Bell, or whatever you want to call this, from here onto there. And it ain't light. It ain't light at all. I feel like all the weight in these trucks are right here in the ass. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of heavy ass, but all right, time to put these retainer nuts back on the hub. So we'll put the first one on. Really what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in depth on this one. The other 3 pieces right down there are pretty self-explanatory. But what I want to show you on this one is we're going to tighten it down, and we're going to keep spinning the drum, the hub. Drum/hub, it's all kind of one assembly. All right, there we go. Where is the trusty flathead? There it is. Okay, so what we do is we took that lock nut, we ran it all the way down. As we kind of got close, I was spinning the drum as I was doing it, just to kind of seat that bearing. What's happening is, as you're locking that in, the bearings are kind of compressing in on it themselves. They're seating the bearing. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep spinning that as we lock it down. And then when it goes to where I can't really spin this anymore, we're going to back it off. I only back it off maybe 1/4 of a turn, if that. Maybe 1/8 of a turn. Ain't that much. Just enough to kind of let this free spinning in. You seating it, or you pushing it into where this doesn't spin anymore, is seating the bearings, backing it off, allows those balls inside that roller, or inside those roller bearings, to free up and kind of be one with the races. All right, let's get out. Find the old trusty hammer. You know what? I'm sitting there using this, and there's actually a hammer right here. So we're actually going to use the hammer for this one. Gear tooth thing that locks down, locking washer. See, it's grooved also. Make sure that groove hits inside of this groove. Put that in. Make sure all your tabs are kind of out of the way, so this will seat up against that locking ring. Otherwise, if one of those locking squares, tabs, whatever you want to call it, is up, it's not going to allow that ring to bottom out. Let's clean that off a little bit. See this little tab? Fold it over, beat it flat. Now, in Chevy theory, that should not come off, because if that comes off, that comes off, and if that comes off, well, those come off. Okay, so now that we've got this lock ring in, we've got the tab pushed over, everything seems to be good and tight. We got good rotation here. We're gonna put the axle back in. So axle just slides back in. Once you get towards the bottom of it, it's gonna stop because what's happening is it's trying to go into the rear end down there. Those splines on the end are trying to get in there. If you've got it angled in any which way, it's going to just stop like that. Doesn't want to go. So what you got to do is, once again, they make a tool for this too, but we don't need no tool. Just pull back on it just a little bit. And look, she slides right in. All right, so the torque on these are pretty important, right? These are the 8 bolts. This is your axle. It's keeping kind of everything together. Make sure we get these things good and torqued. Okay, guys, and what I mean by torque is you get yourself, once again, the breaker bar, aka hammer, wrench, whatever fits. And you got to use the old elbow, okay? You got to use the old elbow. When the tendons start popping, that is the torque. Like, but a good and torqued. Let your body tell you what your truck needs. So, good and torqued? Yep. These do not get set to the elbow torque. These we're actually going to use the big guy, okay? We got these chrome center cap top hat things that are supposed to fit on here and make it look all pretty, but these are a pain in the butt, I'm gonna tell you that. These spikes have a hexagon and it takes a special tool. It fits right on in there. Kind of allows you to get these on good and tight so they don't go shooting off down the road when we're driving. So, needless to say, this stays in the truck in case I ever get a flat. Because these are not coming off without this. Well guys, that is a wrap for today. I know brakes probably, especially drum brakes, are not the most entertaining thing in the world to watch, but maybe somebody out there is looking to change some drum brakes and maybe this helps them out. Guys, the videos are hopefully only gonna get better. I'm still learning the editing, I'm still learning how to get things from our cameras to the computer, from the computer to you guys' home TV. It's a lot more long and drawn out process than I thought it was, but we're handling it. We can only get better, so we won't be doing too many more videos of maintenance on this car. I just really wanted to get it going so I can make it a daily driver. I do have some videos of we're towing with it, using that 5th wheel hitch. Kind of need brakes to do that, so thanks for coming back. We'll see you next time. Guys, smash that like button. Smash that dislike button. Either way, smash something. Back there practicing my nunchuck skills, and I realized we have 300 views and 50 subscribers. Guys, I'm on cloud 9. Well, first up, hey, I didn't realize I had that many people that even liked me. 2, I didn't even know I had more than 10 friends. And 4 minus 1, it's amazing that 300 people have sat down and taken 45 minutes of their day to waste it on me. And I can't tell you how excited I am. Guys, if it's severe.
Yeah, I do.
Thanks for coming by, guys. I wonder whose OCD is gonna kick in. Subscription.
Well, I didn't go to the gym this morning, or yesterday, or a week ago, or a month ago, not even a year ago.
Guys, I'm out of breath. Needs a comment, needs a like, needs a dislike, needs a subscription. Better? Is that a word? Trying to keep the. Ooh. That's a 10 multiplier. We're only gonna get. Guys, we're only gonna get better.